Production. Okay, this is tape 2 of February 15th, 2001 with Jody Stecher in Vancouver. As I said, tape 2, if I didn't say that. So we were just talking about, let me ask the question, from a business standpoint, has the alliance mattered? We've talked about some of the problems that there is with the organization. Or has it been a neutral factor? I assume it's not been a negative factor, but has it been a neutral factor or a positive factor?
Well, we let our membership lapse for about 5-6 years.
Mm-hmm.
I just, rejoined last year. So until recently, no, it hasn't been a factor at all. I think in the beginning it helped. I mean, my business or just for the health of the music.
Well, you talk to both. I mean, if you have an opinion on the larger issue, fine. But your business, does it matter to your business?
I don't know.
In 1991, you got more gigs immediately as a result of your presence at the conference, and so that mattered, I guess, within that time. Overall, you said the industry has grown more professional, but then you immediately said you're not sure if that's just you being more aware of your role as a professional.
Right. But I don't see how the Folk Alliance has anything to do with that.
Okay.
I can't tell.
Okay.
My hunch is that it's not making any difference at all.
Okay.
But I don't have evidence.
Sure, it's hard to do. Randy, do you have any questions? And I mean that seriously. Is there something you think Jody should be addressed to Jody here? You know generally what I'm about.
Well,
and talking to the mic. This one, if you're going to do that, I want it on the tape.
okay. Well, the most heartening thing probably that's come from my association with this organization, and I wonder how Jody feels about this, is brothers at that luncheon 2 years ago. Here are actual traditional music.
Mm-hmm.
Musicians performing actual traditional music in a tradition that nobody out there knew a thing about, including me. And they got a lot of work, and I think that's what this organization should at least in part do. And how do you feel about that?
I didn't know. I wasn't there 2 years ago, so I didn't know about that. I've encountered them once. I did KLW show, and they were in the room. I thought they were fantastic. I particularly loved their drummer, who was playing a cardboard box. Actually, he was playing his drum boxes that he carries them around for the radio. It was there was 2 steel players who were uncanny how they worked together. It was so different, really, really different, and hand in glove. That's great, absolutely. How do I feel? That's great. I didn't know though.
They had kind of a captive audience.
Right. This is important. This is okay. Every year that I've gone to this conference, the years that I've gone, I've always attended the traditional music caucus, meeting. I always say the same point, over and over and over again. If you want more people to know about this, you have to make them listen. You need a captive audience. It's the only way. They will not go voluntarily. I wrote a very strong note by email to the Folk Alliance about having themed showcases this year, saying it was a bad idea. They said, you might be right, but it's the local Vancouver chapter who's decided on this. And the people who are, that was the response. You may be right, you may be wrong.
So transferring that to the larger world of, say, festivals or something, you might prefer to see a festival that is more mixed up with music as opposed to a straight old-time festival.
It's because of festivals like that that I learned about different and the Brooklyn Public Library.
Varied festivals with varied bills.
Right, which would have one kind of music followed by something you never heard of, and right after them would be someone that you went there to hear.
Right.
And then you wouldn't get up.
Yeah.
And then you go, wow, I didn't know that.
Right.
Why this all should matter, I can't tell you, but it's just that music matters to me, and I know it matters to other people. It provides something that nothing else does.
Let me, let me close with this. I'll let you go, and we can get down to get our spot for the
Yeah.
videos. In the '60s folk revival, and still here, you said people have trouble making money, and in the '60s there was a lot of fuss about going commercial. If I'm coming to any conclusion, and I've done 50 interviews so far, and I'm thinking a lot about this and thinking of how I'm going to write it, my attitude is that if the solution to preserving vernacular musics is to go commercial. I think if you go commercial, you're going to help more musics get out there and be heard and ultimately survive. Any thoughts on that?
Okay, here's my thoughts on it.
Mhm.
It's always a mistake to make worse music than you were making before, to make music that you don't like.
Mhm.
That's all.
Okay.
It's spiritually deadening.
Uh-huh.
If going commercial means that you're going to go, that you know that somebody's going to do this, but right now,
Oh, I don't mean that.
I know,
I mean have no
I
guilt about
understand that.
making money. I mean professionalize, learn how to do a show, play the music you want,
Right.
but become a professional and don't worry about selling, recording, getting an agent, selling, do those things.
I think all that stuff is wonderful. That's like I said, once I figured out what I was doing, which is I was basically inviting people to put down money and to give me their attention for a 2-hour span or something like that. I had a certain responsibility, therefore. And by seeing that, it simplified my life greatly. But all right, then I have to develop these skills. And, to my amazement and pleasure, average people, that is, people who were not particularly music fans, just, are entertained by me, by what I say. They may not have ever heard my kind of music before, but they're happy to sit and listen. This is a good thing. Yes, I agree with you there. Unless the problem about about commercialization and quote selling out is if you have to play worse music that you don't care about, and that music you make certain sounds and use certain instruments quite cynically because it's in right now and it'll sell more records. Ultimately, that's bad for everybody, and it's bad for the musician. Except for that, I remember I did this, was sitting when Kate quit Blue Flame. I took her place to finish their gigs in the early 80s. We did this European television show. They were doing 9 segments on America's music to be shown in European television somewhere, and one was called Folk. And Odetta was there, and Buffy St. Marie, Theo Backel, all these people from the 60s, Glenn Yarborough, and somehow Blue Flame String Band was there. Mitch Greenhill got us the gig somehow, and they're interviewing us at the end, and he said to Eric Thompson, "Did you ever want to sell out? Did it ever occur to you?" And he said, "Well, sure. Where do you go to sell out?" The way he said it, he just, burst the balloon of that whole concept. That, okay, sign here.
Okay.
Look, there's an idea that playing and singing your music for the love of the music is a worthy thing, and I completely concur. If you have a concert and choose the songs that you're going to do because they're on your latest album, eventually becomes deadening. It's better to do the music that you're particularly excited about right now. You'll sell just as many. there's all sorts of. I understand the basis of this idea, but it's the non-commercial idea. But it's too if you question it and look at it, it becomes a stupid construct that gets in the way of the simplicity of quality. You know? Audience can be happy, you can make good music, you can get paid more. If you get paid more, then PG&E won't shut off your gas and electric bill. You know about that? What's happening in California?
Yeah.
Ooh. Our gas bill was over $200 for 1 month.
Well, with a good soundbite, we can